Good evening, viewer. Welcome to our English Viewers the breaking news. For much of last year, Washington sought to stir Moscow's war machine of gas, in part of by removing one of its most loyal customers, India. Under President Donald Trump's pressure campaign, the White House slapped high tariffs on many of New Delhi's exports and sanctioned two of the Kremlin's largest oil firms. The strategy appeared to be working while India did not quit its Russian oil habit entirely, and it sharply reduced its purchases in favor of supplies from the Middle East. But last week's joint US Israeli offensive against Iran effectively closed the Strait of Hormuz, through which almost all Middle Eastern oil flows. So, Iran has also threatened to attack energy infrastructure in neighboring countries in retaliations for airstrikes that hit major energy storage sites in Tehran. On Sunday, oil prices surpassed $100 a barrel for the first time since Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine, boosted by fears of further production disruption and restriction too. Left with few other options, India is now turning back to Russian oil. In an acknowledgement of New Delhi's predicament, the US last week granted Indian refineries a 30-day waiver to buy Russian oil currently stranded at sea. US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said the move was to enable oil to keep flowing into the global market. After months of White House pressures to stop buying Russian oil, it is now being given a pass to do exactly that. The proceeds continuing to bolster the very war chest Washington spent a year trying to deplete. As Western nations banned seaborne Russian crude after Moscow's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, the Kremlin successfully pivoted east, finding an economic lifeline in China and India too. The world's two most populous nations absorb billions of barrels per day at steep discount. Hence, to 1.5 billion people and the world's fastest growing major economy, India emerged as one of Russia's top buyers, defending its purchases as essential for its energy security. But after returning to the presidency just over a year ago, Trump moved to sever that link. Last August, he announced plans to impose steep tariffs on India, accusing New Delhi of profiting from the Ukraine war by buying discounted Russian oil and reselling it at a global premium. The White House slapped 50% tariffs on Indian goods, half of them to directly punish New Delhi for its Russian oil purchases, and later sanctions two of Russia's largest oil firms in a bid to choke off the Kremlin's key sources of foreign gas. Eventually, the pressure campaign worked. After months of negotiation, Washington eased levies on New Delhi last month in exchange for a concession, tightening the tap on Russian crude. Then the exclusive report.